Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about partial molar quantities. That is the thermodynamic behavior of open systems. Generally, the systems considered in the previous module, that is of chemical thermodynamics 1, have been assumed to be closed systems where only energy can be exchanged, not matter. In other words, major thermodynamic treatment has been restricted to systems and process in which there is no net change in the total quantity of matter present. That is, the changes in the systems have been regarded as due to changes in temperature or pressure. But this is not the case of an open system. What do you mean by open system? Open system can exchange both matter and energy with its surroundings. In such case, on adding or removing some quantity of a substance from the system, its extensive properties like internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, Gibbs energy, volume, etc. of the system change. So, for an open system, the number of moles that can be represented by the letter N of each component is also a continuous variable. Or simply we can say that for an open system, any extensive property, we know that what are the different extensive properties of a system. Let's consider X is any extensive property which is a function of not only temperature and pressure but also the number of moles N1, N2, N3, etc. of the constituent components. That is, X equal to function of temperature, pressure, N1, N2, N3, etc. And a small change in the property, that is dx, which is a complete differential that can be expressed by partial differentiation, like dx equal to dou x by dou t at constant pressure N1, N2, etc. into dt plus dou x by dou p at constant temperature N1, N2, etc. into dp plus dou x by dou N1 at constant temperature, pressure N2, etc. into dN1 plus etc. If suppose we write dou x by dou N1 at constant temperature, pressure N2, etc. equal to x1 bar. Similarly, we can write dou x by dou N2 at constant temperature, pressure N1, etc. equal to x2 bar and so on. Here dou x by dou n, it is dou x by dou n. This quantity is called partial molar quantities or partial molar properties of the components. And these may be partial molar volumes, partial molar internal energies, partial molar entropies, partial molar Gibbs energies. If this X is equal to U, that is our internal energy, that is called a partial. Then we can write dou U by dou N, that is our partial molar internal energy. If X equal to volume, that is dou V divided by dou N, that is our partial molar volume. If X equal to G, that is our dou G by dou N, that is our partial molar Gibbs energies, like that. So we can write generally partial molar property of ith component in a system can be represented by xi bar equal to dou x by dou ni at constant temperature, pressure, N2, etc. So a partial molar quantity for a given component of a system is the increase in the property of the system from the addition of 1 mole of that particular component at constant temperature and pressure to such a large quantity of the system that there is no appreciable change in concentration. If we consider the system at constant temperature and constant pressure, then we can write dt equal to 0 and dp equal to 0. Then first two terms will cancel. Then how can you write dx? Dx equal to dou x by dou ni, dou n1 at constant temperature, pressure, N2, etc. into dN1 plus etc. Or we can write x bar 1 dN1 plus x bar 2 dN2 plus etc. Then upon integrating this equation, we can write x at constant temperature, pressure equal to N1 into x bar 1 plus N2 into x bar 2 plus etc. And this equation gives a convenient interpretation of partial molar property. From this equation, we can say that the partial molar value x bar I of a specified property x for ith constituent of a system is equivalent to the contribution per mole made by that constituent to the total value of x for the given system at constant temperature and pressure. Next, we have to discuss about one important partial molar property, that is partial molar Gibbs energy, or it is called partial molar free energy, or it is called a chemical potential. That can be represented by mu I, that is our chemical potential of ith component, or partial molar energy Gibbs energy, that is Gi bar, that is ith component. Then we know that Gibbs free energy is an extensive property and it is a function of temperature, pressure and number of moles N1, N2, etc. Then a small change in Gibbs free energy, that is dG, that can be expressed by partial differentiation like dou G by dou T at constant pressure N1, N2, etc. into dt plus dou G by dou P at constant temperature N1, N2, etc. into dP plus dou G by dou N1 at constant temperature, pressure N2, etc. into dN1 plus dou G by dou N2 at constant temperature, pressure N1, etc. into dou dN2 plus etc. Here dou G by dou N quantity of the above equation is called partial molar Gibbs energies or chemical potentials of the components. From this equation we can also write dou G by dou N1 at constant temperature, pressure N2 etc. equal to G bar 1 or mu 1. Similarly, dou G by dou N2 at constant temperature, pressure N1 etc. equal to G bar 2 or mu 2 and so on. So, generally we can write partial molar Gibbs energy of the ith component in a system can be represented by G bar I equal to or mu I equal to dou G by dou Ni at constant temperature, pressure N1, N2 etc. Then how can you define partial molar Gibbs energy or chemical potential? For a given component of a system, it is the increase in the Gibbs energy of the system from the addition of 1 mole of that particular component at constant temperature and pressure to such a large quantity of the system and that there is no appreciable change in concentration. Then for a system at constant temperature and pressure, that is dt equal to 0 and dp equal to 0, we can write this equation as dg at constant temperature and pressure equal to g bar 1 dn1 plus g bar 2 dn2 plus etc. or dg at constant temperature and pressure is equal to mu1 dn1 plus mu2 dn2 plus etc. Or if we integrate this equation, we can write G at a constant temperature and pressure equal to mu1 n1 plus mu2 n2 plus etc. This equation gives the significance of the term chemical potential mu, that is the partial molar Gibbs energy or chemical potential of a component in a mixture is the contribution per mole of that particular component to the total Gibbs energy of the system under constant temperature and pressure. And chemical potential is an intensive property because it is related with the 1 mole of each component in a system, whereas Gibbs energy is an extensive property. Then on differentiating this equation completely, we get dg is equal to mu1 dn1 plus n1 d mu1 plus n2 d mu2 plus mu2 dn2 plus etc. Or dg is equal to mu1 dn1 plus mu2 dn2 plus etc. plus n1 d mu1 plus n2 d mu2 plus etc. Then according to this equation, for a system of definite composition at constant temperature and pressure, we can write dg is equal to mu1 dn1 plus mu2 dn2 plus etc. So here the first term in the bracket on the RHS of this equation will also represent dg, which means that the second term in the brackets of this equation must be 0. That is dg equal to dg plus n1 d mu1 plus n2 d mu2 plus etc. Then we can write n1 d mu1 plus n2 d mu2 plus etc. equal to 0. That is, for a system of definite composition at constant temperature and pressure, we can write sigma Ni d mu I equal to 0, where Ni is the number of moles of the ith component in a mixture and mu I is its chemical potential. This equation is called Gibbs-Duhem equation. This is our famous Gibbs-Duhem equation. Then what is the significance of Gibbs-Duhem equation? In a mixture containing only two constituents at constant temperature and pressure, the Gibbs-Duhem equation will be N1 d mu1 plus N2 d mu2 equal to 0. Or we can write N1 d mu1 equal to minus N2 d mu2. This equation shows that if d mu1 is positive, d mu2 is negative and vice versa. That is, if mu1 increases, mu2 decreases and vice versa. Thus, it can be seen that the change in the chemical potential of one component affects the value of chemical potential of other components. Next, we have to discuss about the condition for equilibrium between phases. Consider a system where there are two phases. For example, a system which contains two liquid layers, each phase containing a number of constituents. Let the partial molar Gibbs energies or chemical potentials of the constituents be mu1, mu2, etc. in phase 1 and mu1 dash, mu2 dash, etc. in phase 2. Suppose that there is a transfer of dn1, dn2, etc. moles of the constituents from phase 1 to phase 2. Then the changes in Gibbs energy of the two phases at constant temperature and pressure are given by equation dg of phase 1 equal to mu1 dn1 plus mu2 dn2 plus etc. And dg of phase 2 equal to mu1 dash dn1 plus mu2 dash into dn2 plus etc. Then the net change in Gibbs energy, that is dg, of the above transfer process at constant temperature and pressure will be dg is equal to dg of phase 2 minus dg of phase 1. That is mu1 dash minus mu1 into dn1 plus mu2 dash minus mu2 into dn2 plus etc. And we know that for equilibrium to exist between two phases at constant temperature and pressure, dg equal to 0. That is mu1 dash minus mu1 into dn1 plus mu2 dash minus mu2 into dn2 plus etc. equal to 0. Since the transfer of each constituent from phase 1 to phase 2 can take place independently, dg at constant temperature and pressure for each such independent transfer must be 0. This means that each term on the RHS of this equation must be 0. That is mu1 dash minus mu1 into dn1 equal to mu2 dash minus mu2 into dn2 equal to 0. Further, dn1, dn2, etc. are not 0. Hence, we can write mu1 dash minus mu1 equal to mu2 dash minus mu2 equal to 0. That is mu1 equal to mu1 dash or mu2 equal to mu2 dash, etc. So, generally we can write for any component I in such a system mu I equal to mu I dash. That is, for equilibrium at constant temperature and pressure in a multi-component system consisting of a number of phases, the partial molar Gibbs energy or chemical potential of each constituent must be the same in all the phases. Now we have to discuss about the Gibbs free energy and chemical potential of a pure ideal gas. For a system undergoing a reversible change, dg equal to vdp minus sdt. All these equations are well studied in previous chapter of thermodynamics 1. Then at constant temperature dt equal to 0. Then we can write dg is equal to vdp. Then let us take an ideal gas at 1 bar. that is the standard pressure can be denoted by P0, 1 bar, that is our standard pressure, at a specified temperature T Kelvin. The Gibbs energy of the system is obviously G0, that is standard Gibbs energy. Suppose the pressure alone is changed, that is to P bar. So that Gibbs energy changes to G at T Kelvin. We can integrate this equation between specified limits G0 to G and pressure 1 bar to P. That is integral G0 to G dg equal to integral 1 bar to P bar VdP. And for n moles of an ideal gas, we can write V is equal to nRT by P. So this equation becomes G minus G0 equal to integral 1 to P nRT by P into dP. Or we can write G minus G0 equal to nRT is a constant. So we can write nRT into ln P upon integrating 1 by P dP we get ln P. Or we can write G is equal to G0 plus nRT ln P. So this equation shows the relationship between Gibbs free energy and Gibbs free energy at a standard pressure for an ideal gas. Then on rearranging this equation, we get G by N equal to G0 by N plus RT ln P, or G by N is our chemical potential. So we can write mu is equal to mu 0 plus RT ln P, where mu 0 is the standard chemical potential, that is chemical potential at a unit pressure, that is our 1 bar at the specified temperature T Kelvin, and P represents a pure number which denotes numerical value of pressure in bar. Then what is the case of chemical potential of an ideal gas in a mixture of ideal gases? In a mixture of ideal gases, the chemical potential mu I of the ith component is given by mu I is equal to mu I 0 plus RT ln Pi, where mu I 0 is the standard chemical potential of the ith component and Pi is its partial pressure. We know that partial pressure Pi equal to Xi into P, where Xi is the mole fraction of the ith component and P is the total pressure. Substituting this equation into this equation, we can write mu I is equal to mu I 0 plus RT ln Xi into P, or mu I is equal to mu I 0 plus RT ln P plus RT ln Xi. The first two terms together on RHS of this equation give the chemical potential for the pure component I under the pressure P bar. So we can substitute that mu I is equal to mu I star plus RT ln Xi, where mu star equal to mu I of pure, that is mu I star equal to mu I of pure. So this equation gives the chemical potential of the component gas I in a mixture at the temperature T Kelvin and P pressure. And it can be seen that when Xi is unity, that is when only the pure component I is present, mu I equal to mu I star. And in a mixture, we know that Xi, that is mole fraction of ith component, will be less than 1. Its logarithm is negative. Hence, mu I less than mu I star. So, this equation shows that the chemical potential of any gas in a mixture is always less than the chemical potential of the pure gas under the same total pressure. Now we have to discuss about chemical potential and real gases. Here is a new term, a new concept called fugacity. We know that the relationship between free energy and standard free energy for n moles of an ideal gas, that is G is equal to G0 plus nRT ln P, where P represents a pure number which gives the numerical value of pressure in bar at T Kelvin. Then here we introduce the case of real gases. So in order to preserve the same form of equation for a real gas, a new function called fugacity that can be represented by the letter F, which has the dimensions and general properties of pressure, that is introduced by scientist G. N. Lewis in 1901, and he defined the term fugacity as G is equal to G0 plus nRT ln F. For a change of a state at constant temperature and pressure in which G value changes from G1 to G2 and F value changes from F1 to F2. Integration of this equation gives delta G is equal to nRT ln F2 divided by F1. This is for n moles. The effective pressure of a real gas is its fugacity, and it can be also defined as F is equal to phi into P, where phi is a dimensionless constant called fugacity coefficient. That is, fugacity coefficient phi is equal to F by P. That is, fugacity coefficient of a gas is the ratio of its fugacity to pressure. Then as pressure tends to small values, a real gas tends towards ideal behavior. And then F tends towards pressure. That is, this statement can be mathematically represented as limit P tends to 0, F by P equal to 1. Thus, fugacity F may be regarded as a sort of fictitious pressure, or it is corrected pressure to apply in the case of real gases. The fugacity is the pressure adjusted for lack of ideality in a real gas. That is, we already discussed in the first module. If a gas is behaving ideally, the fugacity equal to pressure. Then for an ideal gas, chemical potential mu is related to mu 0 by mu equal to mu 0 plus RT ln P. And the fugacity term obviously related to chemical potential of a real gas in the same way as the pressure is related to the chemical potential of an ideal gas. That is, we can write mu is equal to mu 0 plus RT ln F, where F is the fugacity of the gas and mu 0 is its standard chemical potential. That is, chemical potential at a unit fugacity, which is a function of temperature only. Then another concept that is called activity. Activity term introduced in the case of solutions. When we deals with the solutions of any kind, it is convenient to define a quantity called activity. That is, activity of a substance in a given state is defined as the ratio of its fugacity in that state to its fugacity in its standard state. That is, activity is equal to F divided by F0. And activity is a unitless quantity. Since for a gas, the fugacity in the standard state F0 is by definition 1 bar, the fugacity of a gas is numerically equal to its activity. So, for a real gas, activity equal to F. So, the activity of a real gas is given by activity is equal to gamma into P, where gamma is a dimensionless constant called activity coefficient. Then activity coefficient gamma is equal to A divided by P. That is our activity coefficient of a gas, which is the ratio of its activity to pressure. Then the chemical potential of a pure real gas can be expressed as mu is equal to mu 0 plus RT ln A, where A is the activity of the gas and mu 0 is its standard chemical potential. That is, chemical potential at a unit fugacity or activity. Then if consider a mixture of real gases, then what will be the value of chemical potential of the ith component? Mu I is equal to mu I 0 plus RT ln AI, where AI is the activity of the ith component and mu I0 is its standard chemical potential. Consider chemical potential of state 1 mu1 equal to mu 0 plus RT ln A1, and chemical potential of state 2 is mu2 equal to mu 0 plus RT ln A2. And consider there is a process in which a system consisting of 1 mole of a substance, for example real gases, changes from a state 1 with chemical potential mu1 to a state 2 with chemical potential mu2. Then change in chemical potential delta mu is equal to mu2 minus mu1, which is equal to RT ln A2 by A1. Here we consider the case of 1 mole. Then delta G, we know that delta mu is equal to delta G. Delta G is equal to RT ln A by A2 by A1 for 1 mole of gas. And for 1 mole of an ideal gas, delta G will be equal to RT ln P2 by P1. So from this equation, we can say that activity is the thermodynamic counterpart of gas pressure. That's all about partial molar properties. Hope it is clear. Thank you.